Hi beautiful souls, it's Tan here today with another astrology video, and today I've kind of decided that I'm gonna put a bit of a pause on all the series that I've been doing, the Venus and Venus Synastry, Venus Natal and Neptune, just to pause for a little bit and do a short series on opposite signs for the next week or so, and then eventually get back into that because, you know, just to have a bit of a change. And also because I like to start new things and I need to constantly start new things, otherwise I can't really keep up that same energy for the thing that I was doing. So anyways, yes, but also because I feel like I should have talked to you guys about opposite signs way before, or like in the channel, because it's really crucial to really understanding the archetypes in astrology better. So I owe you this. So here we go. So the idea here is that, okay, if you start somewhere on your natal chart wheel, doesn't matter where, and you go 180 degrees across the wheel, you're going to get to the opposite sign from where you started, or the opposite house axis, or the house polarity, the opposite house basically. So before you got there, you were like a beginner, a novice in life and in self-awareness, because you haven't yet seen your other half. Because you can't really know about yourself and about life unless you know what you are not and what life is not, right? So okay, let's pretend for a minute that the whole world is black. So there are no colors. There's just like black and different shades of gray. And that's all that you thought you were, right? Until one day you saw this white tree. And for the first time, you realize what black actually symbolizes based on its relation to the color white. The only way to kind of decipher the meaning and the symbolism of black is to hold it against white and to see its relation to one another. That is going to be their meaning, their representation, their purpose. So in a way, every archetype in the world does have an opposite, and the only way to see it clearly and to understand that archetype is to see its relativity to its opposite. So there's like this feeling of completion and wholeness when two opposites join forces together. Like two pieces of a jigsaw puzzle that are completely different in every way possible, except for like their tabs and blanks, which somehow it just fits together. But even that's not even the same, that's different, but still it fits together. So in astrology, opposite signs and houses will be of a different element and ruled by different planets, but they will have the same gender, so masculine or feminine, and they will have the same modality. So it's either they're both fixed, they're both mutable, or they're both cardinal. So they complement each other through their opposites. So, okay, so I'm gonna briefly tell you the opposite signs and houses now. So Aries rules the first house and is ruled by, and is a fire sign, and is ruled by the planet Mars, and its opposite is Libra, which rules the 7th house. It is an air element, and it is ruled by the planet Venus. Both of them are masculine in nature, and both of them are cardinal in modality. Taurus rules, and the 2nd house is of the earth element and is ruled by the planet Venus, and its opposite is Scorpio, which rules the 8th house and is a water element and is ruled by both Pluto and Mars. Both of them are feminine in nature, and both of them are fixed in modality. Gemini rules the 3rd house and is an air sign. It is ruled by Mercury, and its opposite is Sagittarius, which rules the 9th house of the fire element, and the planet that rules it is Jupiter. Both of them are masculine in nature, and both of them are mutable in modality. Cancer rules the 4th house, and its planet is the moon, and it is of the water element. Its opposite is Capricorn, which rules the 10th house. Its element is earth, and it is ruling planet is Saturn. And they're both feminine in nature, and they're both cardinal in modality. Leo rules the 5th house, and it is a fire sign, and it's ruled by the sun. Its opposite is Aquarius, which rules the 11th house. It is of the air element and is ruled by Uranus and Saturn. Both of them are masculine in nature and fixed in modality. And last but not least, Virgo rules the 6th house, and is of the earth element. Its ruling planet is Mercury, and the opposite is Pisces, which rules the 12th house. The element is water, and the ruling planet is Neptune and Jupiter. Both of them are feminine in nature and mutable in modality. So if you're not really sure of these terms and what it means, I will be putting out videos on each of the opposite signs. So there'll be 6 videos each, and you can kind of go through each of them, and you'll kind of get a more understanding about how the signs are different and why they complement each other and things like that. So, okay, so first of all, if you want to see in your chart which of these opposite signs and polarities are more dominant than others, which is heavier in your chart, what you're lacking, you know, there are a couple of things that you could look for. So first of all, you're going to want to check your sun sign, obviously, because the sun is the most outward expression of your personality, your life path, your soul purpose, and your creativity. So whichever sign and house that sun is in, you want to check to see the opposite house and sign. But I think that even more obvious than the sun that you should be looking for is actually your ascendant or rising sign, and the 1st house and the 7th house. So sometimes your houses, I think most of the time for most people, each house is going to be ruled by 2 signs, okay? So you need to take both into consideration. For example, you could have an Aquarius rising, which means that your descendant is in Leo. So you've got that axis and that opposition. But let's say that with that Aquarius rising, you also have like Moon and Mercury, let's say in your 1st house, in Pisces, for example. So it's of a different sign, but it's still in the 1st house. So you want to check, okay, to see the opposite of that, which is the archetype of Virgo that's going to be partially in your 7th house as well. So you've got to keep that in mind when you're checking the 1st and 7th house axis. Another very important thing that you have to check is your North Node and South Node. The North Node and South Node will always be in opposite signs and opposite houses. So the South Node is the karma that you've carried from a past life, and now they're playing out in the earlier parts of your current life, and they're kind of this comfort zone that you can easily sink into, but it's not giving you any kind of growth. The North Node is kind of an uncomfortable territory that all of us are kind of compelled to move into in this life, because what's not quite comfortable for us is what's gonna ultimately give us the most growth in life. So yes, you want to check the North and South Node to see the opposite signs and house that's in. The last thing you want to check, this is maybe not for everyone, but for some of you that have a lot of planets in one sign or one house, you want to check, that means the energy is really heavy, okay, in that sign and house. And you want to check to see if for the sign and the house that's opposite of that, and if you have oppositions between those cluster of planets, so like 3 or more, and another cluster of planets, like 3 or more in another sign and house, you have like an opposition, like an aspect of opposition. This brings an awareness that you need to achieve balance between those 2 things. If, however, you just have heavy planets in one sign and house without any oppositions, you still need to find that balance, but it will not be so obvious that you need to do it, and you might need to make it more conscious, and it will not be a natural, more compulsive energy to do it. For example, okay, if you have a lot of, let's say you have your Mercury, Jupiter, and Mars, let's say, in Cancer, in the 8th house. So now you're gonna see, and let's say you have that, and let's say that you also have Neptune and Saturn, okay, in Capricorn in the 2nd house. Those are gonna naturally oppose each other, which means that it's going to be a natural urge for you to strive to achieve balance between Cancer and Capricorn, 8th house and 2nd house. But if you don't have any planets in that 2nd house in Capricorn, you still need to find that balance. Otherwise, you're going to be really heavy in the 8th house there. So you need to finally achieve that balance, but it will need to be made more conscious, and you need to be more aware of how you're going to do that. And it might not be very natural for you, okay? So once you kind of checked all those things in your natal chart, then I would suggest that you watch the video that is in correspondence with those opposite signs and those house axes in the upcoming weeks that I'll be posting. So yes, I'll be starting off with Aries, Libra, and then just, you know, going through the zodiac order. So there'll be 6 videos total for you guys there. So I hope this video kind of clarifies a little bit more about how archetypes work in astrology and how the natal chart works in astrology. And I hope that my videos on opposite signs is going to help bring some wholeness into your life. Okay guys, so that is all for today. I'll see you in the next video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't. If you have, then thank you very much for coming along on more astrology journeys. And yeah, bye!